maybe is to you, Joe, or to Anthony, but the point of view, the entry into the film is Elizabeth, and the camera seems to follow Winston's assistant, secretary, and we're thrusted upon through her. Can you talk about that choice?
Yeah, I kind of really wanted to meet Winston. Well, firstly, I wanted to delay the entrance of Winston into the movie for as long as possible, to build that suspense, to have everybody talking about him before we revealed the man. And I wanted to meet him through the eyes of Elizabeth, who is kind of the every woman of the film. She's a normal person and actually a working class person as well, rather than these big kind of stuffy characters. It was important to me that the women were as front and centre as the film, the narrative allowed. I make a lot of sort of female-centric movies, and I kind of I was a bit daunted by all the men in this film, so I kind of wanted to make sure that Elizabeth and Clementine were as front and centre as possible. And then we and then we meet him. We push through the door with Elizabeth. In darkness, we hear his voice. It's a film, as Anthony can talk about words and the importance of words to change the world, especially from a leader. And so you hear him before you see him, and then he strikes a match. And I kind of liked, for me, I did a movie called Atonement, and Robbie Turner died by the light of a single match in that movie, and so I quite liked the idea of bringing Winston to life with a single match in this movie. It was a kind of little play for me, a little rhyme for me. So we bring him to life with a single match, and then the curtains are opened in a kind of theatrical gesture. This is a piece of theatre, it's a piece of drama. So we open the curtains to reveal Winston in a spotlight, and there he is in all his cherubic pink baby glory. He's pink, his dressing gown is pink, the walls are pink, he's a pink splodge. He's a pink splodge that is about to change the course of history.
And Mr. Pink, Mr. Ullman, greatest performance of your incredible career. It's an understatement. Where you look nothing like Winston Churchill. You sound nothing like Winston Churchill. Can you tell us a little bit about how you went into becoming Winston Churchill?
I think that's one of the reasons why, as Doug said, it sort of floated by. And I just thought, how would I even begin to even do that? Just the physicality alone. Then with Anthony's script, it was a great piece of material, and all the pieces started to come together. And I thought, well, if I'm gonna, it was Joe, and I thought, well, if I'm gonna have a go at this, I'd be in pretty safe hands. And then after we had met and we just hit it off and seemed to be creatively on the same page with it, and then it was just what I call the sort of year of Churchill, to surrender all things to Churchill. Reading as much as I could. There's tons of newsreel footage of Winston, and the revelation to me really was in watching these little clips, the vitality and the energy of the man. That I think I had an image of Churchill in my head which was probably, like many of us, influenced or contaminated by Albert Finney or Robert Hardy and all the other great actors that have played him. But it's often in old age or infirmity or at the end of the war. And the Churchill that was very much, I mean, on the page, and the Churchill I think that Joe wanted to represent. This was a Churchill who was dynamic and full of life and vitality, and he did look pink and like a baby and cherubic, and had a sparkle in his eye and a real sort of lust for life. A man, you know, it just comes off the screen, this guy on a mission. So it was that was a real key for me. The way he would just move much through space. And that's the birth of that walk that is just with a fixity of purpose. And then we emailed and spoke, and Joe would fly out and visit, and we just really together put him, you know, brick by brick, put him together.